everybody. My name is Yvan Cognasse. I'm a senior lecturer at Oracle, and I'm also the director for Certificate Advanced Studies at HEG Geneva. So I am on the academic side and on the, let's say, business side. Today I would like to start with a problem statement shortly. Think about a shop and think about two corridors where we put, let's say, 6 flavors of jam on one side and 24 flavors of jam on another side. And 10 years ago, we made some surveys in order to understand the impact of a choice. And probably you will realize from your personal experience as well that the more you have choice, the less you are doing and making decisions. And this is exactly what this survey demonstrates. 6 flavors of jam on one side will create 30% of buyers, which means people will make a decision to buy the jam. On the other side, if you put too much, there is no decision. So shortly, the decision problem we are ending there is that we are living, all of us, in a complex world with more and more data, and it's more and more challenging for us, and also for the companies and organizations, to make decisions. We can draw a very simple graph to illustrate this point. Let me put on the first dimensions the amount of data, and on the vertical side, the performance of your decision. As a human, the more data you will have, the more relevant decision you will make at a certain point of time, let's say a peak, where more data will create a lot of confusion, a lot of challenge to make good decisions. And we, during the last 30 years, we experiment AI. AI is not new, as you know, and we test some models in order to, let's say, collect more data and try to make better decisions. But we made very good success during the last years, creating, for example, large language model and pretty large neural framework in order to make better decisions in a context where you have more data. So basically, what we can agree together is that in the very beginning, with a limited number of data, you can make very good decisions. As a human, you have a perfect machine to do that. But at a certain point of time, let's say the big data time, it will be very, very challenging. So the challenge for all companies, including SMEs today, is how can we have, on the full spectrum of volume of data, to make the best decision in all the context. So why we are here? Possibly 2 years ago, when ChatGPT has been announced, a lot of people realized that AI is moving away from the winter age. And we can describe this timing based on 3, let's say, dimensions. The first dimension is that we have access today to high-performance infrastructure for a pretty good price. The infrastructure are ready to leverage the AI training step required to make this mechanism working fine. The second time is that we have labelized, we have huge volume of training data. And the third thing is that companies, including all of you in this room, realize that there is huge opportunities in all the domains. And that's these 3 components which make today so, let's say, huge, sometimes buzz or hype about AI and Gen AI. So what is really important for you in the business? And I'm moving away from ChatGPT and the use we are doing from a personal perspective. The first thing is how accurate the results of AI are. So that's the first challenge in order to improve the performance of a decision based on the data. The second opportunity there is how fast you can get answers. So whole companies today are looking for AI capabilities who will address these 2 dimensions. High accuracy and fast, very fast. So let me take an example, and I'm going to illustrate my example with a company who is selling shirts. So it doesn't have to be a big company, it could be a very small company, e-shop or whatever. Let's imagine that all of us, we are in a company and we are selling shirts. And we can do the level 0 of the AI, which is we have a price and we have a quantity demanded. So it's pretty easy for us with a small number of data to illustrate through this linear regression, very easy to do, that's the basic level of math. If we put a price, what will be the quantity demanded? But all of us, we know that this very, very simple process, which is to extract from a price a demand, need just, let's say, one neuron, okay? Easy. Now think that we have multiple dimensions to consider in order to define the right price and to extrapolate the demand. We will have to consider the price, but also the shipping cost, possibly the marketing investment you manage to sell the shirts, and the material quality. So what we are going to do from a human perspective, pretty hard with so small volume of data, is to connect some characteristics like price and shipping cost will define a characteristic of our product, which is affordability of the product. We'll do the same with a marketing characteristic, which will help us to identify the awareness of our product. And finally, we'll connect possibly price and material in order to define what we name a perceived quality. And all these characteristics will help us to define a demand. So basically what we did is this neural network. So that's a very easy slide to present something which resonates as very complex. A huge volume of inputs and relevant output. And the more you will put input in the machines, which act as a black box on my slide, the more relevant you will get recommendations. All companies identified this as a great opportunity across multiple domains. So what did we learn during the last 20 years if we want to engage these AI transformations? Let's explore what we did 20 years ago with Internet era. So as you know, it's not because you are a shopping mall and you put a website or e-commerce, you are an internet company. Most of you are very familiar with that. It's not because you put some, let's say, e-shop capabilities, you are now in this new world. Why? Because what does it mean to be an internet company? Basically, it means that every decision you will take will be based on something like an A/B testing. So you will test all decisions in reality in order to collect information from your customers, from your suppliers, from your employees. The second characteristic of an internet-based company is to have a short iteration time. So you avoid the tunnel effect. You don't engage any more 2 years project. You test, you learn, you reiterate, you execute, and so on and so forth. So this is nothing to do with technology, but really from a governance and operating model perspective. And obviously, you will also have, let's say, a bottom-up approach where you will delegate a lot of decisions to your field. To be an AI company, that's the same. To be an AI company doesn't mean any company using deep learning stuff, machine learning technologies. What does it mean? First, you engage a strategic data strategy. So you move your culture to a data culture, which means that all complex decisions will be based on data, not anymore only on the common sense. That's very challenging for SMEs who have been developed by the founder, who know their market, who know their customers, and they think that I know my business, my common sense is great. But as we saw in the beginning of these presentations, to make hard decisions with lots of complexity in terms of competitions, in terms of impact on the society of your product, in terms of feeling and feedback from your lead and prospect is very challenging. Common sense is not anymore enough. So, all of us, we know the typical challenge. The challenge are you need high investment, you have a shortage of skills, you probably AI, and to adopt AI in the companies are pretty complex from an end user perspective. What does it mean? Is my job is going to be replaced, or I'm going to conduct my daily tasks? And the final challenge is to mitigate the risk. And I'm proud to be part of this Swiss AI Center because this is exactly what we are addressing and we are thinking about in order to provide relevant answers. So other challenges are, and you are probably familiar with that, is some systems who will collect data will replicate BAs. So it's a common challenge with AI mechanisms. The second challenge will be, but it has been introduced, is AI going to replace job? And I will suggest you at the end of this presentation a short exercise you can start right now with your agenda. It's a teaser. Explicability is a big challenge because you will collect a lot of data, the system will make some recommendations, but how can you make decision based on the recommendation is really if you are able to have an understanding about the AI recommendations. And not all AI mechanisms do provide this explicability. Privacy. Security, and finally, autonomy. For example, in the company I'm working at Oracle, we do provide AI capabilities, but this is just at the recommendation level. So we never use AI to make a decision. So the human continue to have a responsibility, but we know that this is a gray zone there. For example, when we're speaking about self-driving car, do we delegate a hard decision, for example, to stop the car at the right light, or should we continue? Okay, so what are the options for SMEs today? So you have two options. The first one, and possibly a hybrid model. The first option is to leverage capabilities from AI partners like Amazon, Google, Workday, Salesforce, Oracle, Microsoft, and so on and so forth. And I will share with you examples from Oracle. And secondly, to build your own AI strategy. And I will share with you some guidance in order to start right now this kind of program inside your organizations. First thing, this is a simple examples like a service contact page where as a contact center end user, you don't have to write the answer to the problems you get through a service request, and the system will not only provide a relevant answer, but will also be influenced by your internal rules. For example, in this example, we don't only provide an answer to a technical request, but we also use, for example, some rules where when someone creates a service request, he cannot ask two questions. It could be your guidance inside your organizations, and the system will be influenced as well, not only through, let's say, public informations, but also based on your governance model. This other example is a simple chatbot which will provide a conversational experience and collecting informations also from your system, like from your contracts database, and it will leverage as well the security aspects in order to provide a highly personalized experience to the end user who will dialogue through the chatbot. Another example is what we name narrative reporting. So basically, you don't use any more of the classic business ethics toolings. You just write in a natural language what you want to display on your page. Like, please show me a graph about my sales. And the systems will not only elaborate the graph, but also will extract from your systems the relevant data. And you will engage a conversation with the system in order to improve that. Well, there is another option for you, which is to build your own AI capabilities. So let me share with you some guidance. At this stage, it's more some high-level guidance, and in the coming months, we will continue to work on that in order to provide possibly a more, let's say, meaningful methodology. So the first thing, and this is exactly what we are doing, is to provide broad AI training. And not only to your end user and IT, but I would strongly recommend you to engage this kind of AI training with your top management. The second activity is to execute some pilot, and as you saw with Swiss AI Center, you can get a great support in order to engage that. The first step will be to build your own in-house. Don't delegate this kind of capabilities to a cloud provider or an AI consulting agencies, but build your own team inside, a cross-functional team from a business perspective and an IT perspective. The fourth step will be to engage due diligence, and I will share shortly with you some examples to engage that. And finally, to develop effectively your AI strategy, which would be completely aligned with your strategy. And I know it's very challenging because strategy is a buzzword, but to understand what your company plans to do in the next 5 years will provide you the capability to translate this enterprise strategy into the relevant AI strategy to support this journey. My comment there is that proof of concept is great, but always think about the scalability of your proof of concept. To create a proof of concept is a technical demonstrations about the capability to do the stuff. But as you know, it will have a huge impact on the way your company is working. Which means that the POC dimension is not only a technical perspective, but also how your organization is going to adopt this from a job perspective, from an organization perspective, from a performance monitoring perspective. So as you can imagine, it will have a huge impact on all the dimensions on the way your company is working. So first thing, shortly as an example, something I can illustrate through a self-driving car example. You will have 3 steps to start your project. First, you will have to collect data. And I know that SMEs are used to say, I don't have so much data. I'm not Google, I'm not Amazon, you know. But basically, you have lots of data, and you are probably the unique company who do have this data. Think about a bakery in Lausanne, and they are selling pain au chocolat each day. They are unique on the planet to know who are buying this kind of product in their region. So don't underestimate the value of the data. In my example, you will manually, for example, define where is the car on this picture. So it's a manual exercise if you don't have any labelized data. The second step will be to train your model. And you will experiment with real stuff, how my model is working, and possibly it will not work, because the first time you will identify pedestrians, cyclists on the picture, and you will manually to say, it's wrong, do it again, do it again, do it again, until good enough. And then you will deploy the model, but you will continue to get data back, and you will continue to challenge the model. So basically, I summarize in one slide what is to build an AI prototype. I don't speak about any technology there. The second thing will be to have a cross-functional team, which basically means to identify what AI could do from a technical perspective, but also which value can we extract from these AI capabilities. And don't focus on what AI can do, or don't focus on a dream of AI who could do whatever we could. So the challenge is to identify the connections of technology perspective and value. I know it's very easy to put that on a slide. And the last step will be to, let's say, go through the technical diligence. So can AI system meet desired performance? Think about that, accuracy of the answer, and how fast I can get the results. We are thinking about near real-time recommendations. And from a business diligence, you will have to address, is it something I improve an existing stuff, which is, do I reduce the cost of the way we're currently working, or do we increase the revenue from this existing process? But there is a huge opportunity as well to explore AI to create new revenue. So let's say a new business opportunity. There is a lot of topic where you can extract value. I'm sharing there a very interesting slide from McKinsey, which illustrates what are the top functions you can extract huge value. And all of us, we possibly experiment, for example, some HR use case where I'm going to use ChatGPT to write my job description. Well, this is not the best place to create value. Think about sales, marketing, product R&D, obviously software engineering, and customer operations where you can get huge value. So, to conclude, simple exercise you could start tomorrow in order to see how AI will impact your life. Have a look on your agenda, and probably in your agenda you will have a lot of actions, like I'm going to do some mail, I'm going to do some report, I'm going to manage conversations with my team member, I will have discussions with my manager. So very complex agenda. This is your agenda, this is mine as well. And I suggest to color code all activities in 3 colors. The first one will be green. Everything as a human you are the best machine to do that, keep it. Or if you love to do that, like conversations, thinking, problem solving, this is the human activity you want to continue to do. The second type of activities will be, I know an AI who will help me or could help to replace this human activity, whatever AI. And the third color coding I suggest is probably there is somewhere an AI who could do the stuff, but I don't know which AI I could use to do that. So let's start the color coding. So you will have a lot of blue, a lot of orange, a lot of green. Okay? Next step will be just to ask, okay, let me ask an AI which AI I could use to replace the activities I would like to delegate to an AI, but I don't know the AI. Trust me, a lot of AI will provide you very relevant proposition. So we're in a good shape now because we are going to have only green and blue, okay? This is my agenda. Well, guess what? We are going to remove all of that. So the questions for you is, what you are going to do tomorrow with this new agenda? Some of you will decide, well, I'm going to work 2 days per week. And I will be on the beach, I will run, I will do sports, I will be with my family the rest of the week. But the reality there is that you are going to create new activity. You are going to create new green activities to continue and to do more conversations, to engage more problem-solving workshop. You will learn more. You will also attend more events like this one in order to engage discussions. And there is one activity I think AI will never replace, which is the networking. So that's my final slide. Because of the AI, we are going to create more activity, which will create a huge volume of value in our business. Thank you.